to the Easily Excitable podcast. My name is Tom, and with me this week is Dom. Hey Dom, how's it going?
It's going well, Topham. How are things with you?
Yeah, things are all right. I'm just on a short holiday for the time being, just chilling out home, not doing much. Before we started, you remarked on how I am way more relaxed than you've ever seen because I'm usually always doing a million things.
Yeah, and now he's just kind of... this is the lowest energy I've ever seen you. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice at the same time. It's like, Top, are you okay? Like, I was worrying, like, are you ill? Are you okay?
Nah, everything's fine. I'm just like, yeah, I've had a relaxing day and I've just spent time playing games and thinking about stuff and like, yeah, so I guess it's kind of what I needed because it's been mega hectic at work and just with everything going on, I'm just like, okay, I just need a day where I can just do nothing for a while.
Is that just why you've taken today off? You just wanted a day?
Nah, Rachel's here from like Thursday until next Tuesday, and I took, unlike the only other holiday I've had this year, is one day I went to go and try out some guitars, and then the other 3 days I've had off were when Rachel came over and we went to Paris. So really, I haven't had much time to actually chill out and relax, and I really needed it. And so yeah, today I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna chill out and just have a good time and just see where the day takes me. But it has taken me through watching 4 hours of Mr. Brownman's playthrough of Spider-Man.
Oh, well, Ray's?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Like,
Man, that game looks good.
it does.
Like,
Yeah,
I was watching the... I've got into a really bad habit of games that I know I can't get, like that and God of War, because I don't have PlayStation. I watch the full cutscenes people put online, so it's like... It's like 5 hours, 5.5 hours of cutscenes, and it's so good. Like, obviously change some of it, of course, change some of it around and give it a bit more downtime. But you can make that into a movie. Honestly, it just looks so good, and it works so well.
Yeah, no, I've been watching it through. He's been playing for, like I said, just over 4 hours. He did nearly 5.5 hours on his first stream of it. But he's clearly like having a good time, having fun playing it. It looks fun, and it looks like a decent game that I don't know if I'm going to pick it up, but yeah, it looks real enjoyable. But yeah, oh well. Let's start by talking about the GGG trip that was somewhat recently. It was probably about a month ago at this point, actually, wasn't it?
About 5 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
5-6 weeks ago. No, the trip went well this year. We had a nice little jaunty up to Pennsylvania this year, so we went north this time. It's all right.
Yeah.
Bit wetter than the last times. It was like pissing it down sideways for most of the time. I had to rescue my burgers from the barbecue one time. That was fun. Oh god, we just me and Genesis just standing outside and just like. I put my burgers on, just chatting away, and all you hear in the background is just... But like, what was that? Shit, just rolling thunder, and then it just... Like a wall of water hits us. We run back inside, and then I look back, and like the propane... Because it's liquid gas. Just the propane just like... spitting up all the steam. And my burger's just on there. Like, they've been on there 30 seconds, and I'm just there like... the burgers are getting like soaked in rainwater. Like, oh damn it. But yeah, no, it was good. We went around some of the national parks. We played a lot of board games, a lot of Betrayal House on the Hill. I ran a D&D for people in person. Nice. We got addicted to something called the Train Game or Ticket to Ride or something.
Oh, Ticket to Ride is the tabletop game where you've got to build between cities.
Yeah. So good, and we ended up. Yeah, when we ended up coming back, obviously after the trip, and then Humble Bundle were like, "Hey, there's a tabletop sale, so for $1 you can get Ticket to Ride and a load of other things." So of course, all of us would be playing shit tons of it.
Yeah, after I saw all of you in like Discord, like everyone was playing Ticket to Ride, and I'm just like, I didn't realize there was a digital version of that.
It was on the Humble Bundle store, like. Keep an eye on the Discord because we do post up when the stuff's for free or stuff's like really cheap. I think Emma posted it up a while back, but Yeah, no, so we were playing a lot of that, a lot of Betrayal House on the Hill. DG, Andy, and a few others started watching Walking Dead, like the Telltale games from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So basically, that was just constantly on in the background for about half the week,
Nice.
which was horrifying when you walk in and then you see like some of the stuff that happens. Like,
Yeah.
oh, just coming in, just like eating my food. Oh, what's going on here? And there's a guy like on the floor missing his legs. And I'm like, okay, did not want to see that. But yeah, no, mini golf and all the rest of it. It was a very chilled one this time.
Cool.
Because last time we were in
Texas, just after RTX. Is that right?
Yeah, we had RTX, and then we went out to Galveston, and managed to get out before the hurricane hit last year. But no, this year was just like chilled and very much like we had in Carolina 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. Can't remember. 2 years ago. Yeah, because 3 years ago was the RTX before that, which was 2015. So we had RTX.
First one a lot of us went to.
Yeah, RTX, then Carolina, North Carolina, then RTX again in Texas, and then Pennsylvania this time. So yeah, Pennsylvania. So it was good because we were just like on the edge of a lake, and we just kind of we were talking about like, oh, we should go do like water skiing or something, but then it was just like, because it was so bad weather most of the time. Like sometimes when you're in different countries and people are like, oh, it's raining, because we're Brits, we're just like, it's spitting.
Yeah.
That's not rain. No, this was legit like walls of water, and I was like, ooh, okay, yeah, this is a problem. But no, it was just a nice chilled out trip overall, really.
Cool. Yeah. I saw you all come back and be like, yeah, loads of different games, and yeah, just sounds fun. How did playing D&D in a group with people in the same location like change the experience?
I've done it before because I did it back in the Florida meetup, but honestly, that's like the second or third time I've done it in person.
Yeah,
I much more enjoy it in person. The main difference is though, you have to rely a lot more on your imagination, because on the computer we use Roll20, we use the website called Roll20, where you can make maps and you can have your tokens and you can have a tactical battle map and all that sort of stuff. This time, of course, because I didn't have, this was kind of spur of the moment stuff, like I brought my dice with me because I assumed like maybe somebody would run something, and then I got there and I was like, hey, DG Cattle, because they're the only two other people who've really DM'd in the group, are you guys planning anything? And they're like, nah, we hadn't thought about it, we got our dice in case you wanted to do it. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll plan something. 2 days later, they're fighting kobolds, and yeah, it was okay, but it was we had a lot of new players because I had a few people who never played before, or people who only played like once or twice. So it was me DMing. Emma played because she's played a few times now. Indy played. Indy has played a couple of times. I've run a couple of one shots for him before. Stan played. The only time he's ever played was back in Florida when I did that other one shot, so that's only his second time playing. Jen played. Again, he's only ever played once before. Ash played. She's never played before. And Andy played. And he'd never played before. So it was a lot of new people running around as level 1 characters trying to figure out what they can do. And yeah, one of them ended up getting sent to hell. So, good end to a first level 1 shot. That person is very, very dead. But yeah, it was a good experience. They came up with a lot of solutions to problems which I didn't expect, which was great. And there was, I think, the main difference between like offline, like online, and being at a table, there was a lot more casual crosstalk. Not in a bad way. Like people were talking to each other in character and actually interacting with each other.
Yeah.
More when they were in person together, whereas on like Discord, a lot of the time I'm doing most of the talking, which isn't what I would prefer to do, being the DM. But no, it was great fun. Got a few things wrong, but it's hard when I didn't have all my books with me.
Yeah, yeah. When we're playing, we'll try and like the DM will keep one or two people entertained if he's not addressing the whole group, and the other 2 or 3 people will just try and come up with a plan or make some interactions. So yeah, that's one thing that I really enjoy on playing tabletop in a local setting rather than playing online.
It was interesting because they came up with a solution to a problem I didn't even like think about really. Because I just sent them a thing and was like, they'll figure it out. So there was a massive clearing and there was a tower in the middle which they knew the kobolds were inside. And the idea was that the sun was out, but like the sun was angled in such a way that the shadow from the tower goes all the way to the edge of the clearing. So that's like a double trap because it's like, okay, we can't run at the tower because they're going to spot us. We'll sneak up. Like most people will be like, oh, we'll sneak up the shadow. But then because kobolds can't see very well in the light, they actually can see perfectly well in the dark. Then people get shot at. So it's like a double trap. But no, they didn't even bother. They just drew the kobolds completely. They were just like, fuck assaulting this thing, we'll just draw them out. And they knew these kobolds worshipped a god, and then through some clever role-playing and a couple of spells, they managed to convince the kobolds that an emissary of their god had arrived. And then just the tower, they all just flood out of the tower, and then just get blasted from like 6 different directions by all the various spells and arrows and stuff. So, yeah, they all did quite well.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds like it was a good trip, and lots went on. I don't know what I want to say next, really, but other than like, that was a couple of weeks ago. What have you been up to since then? Mostly, what have you been playing? To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, what are we playing? Like, in terms of like life stuff, is just getting on for the pair of us, I think. So
yeah,
it's just kind of like, what is there to talk about? No games. I've got back into Borderlands in a big way, which I blame entirely on Andy because he was playing like in the downtime. Andy, Indy, and a couple of others had sort of their laptops with them. Yeah. So they were just like playing stuff in the downtime when we were like setting up games or whatever. Yeah. So I saw Andy playing the pre-sequel, Borderlands the pre-sequal, and I was like, I haven't played that yet. I played it once since launch.
Yeah. And
I played it through once, and then I was done with it because I played Borderlands to absolute death. Like almost 300 hours of that game. I was like, I never really played the police sequel, so I've got massively back into that, and that's thoroughly enjoyable.
Nice.
I mean, we were playing, not official game night, but last night we got on with the Good Guy Gamers, didn't we? We had a bit of golf with friends, which was
awesome. Everyone put on like rubber duck hats, and there was a lot of quacking, and it was amazing.
It was just absolute chaos. But no, we've been playing a lot of that recently because the Steam Workshop has now updated for Golf with Friends, so they're all custom maps, and you can do like a map maker and stuff. So that's why we were playing a load of it last night. We played like 4 hours of it last night, which is an obscene number. Normally we only play like 18 holes and then we're done.
Yeah. I hopped in for about an hour. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. Yeah. That's a good party. I think that's a current sort of party game we go to nowadays because it's like we played Gary's Mod to absolute death.
Yeah. So
we're a bit bored of that now. Yeah. And we can never seem to get any of the other game modes to work properly aside from like Trouble in Terrorist Town and Murder. The rest of them are a bit like somebody doesn't get the pack up downloaded, or like there's a problem with something, and we don't want to leave people out, so we generally just gravitate to the stuff we know.
Yeah.
And there's things like we want to play like GTA together, but realistically, once you get more than 4 people, then you need sort of like, if you get 4 people, it's perfect. You can do heists, you can do like some of the game modes at 44 people.
Yeah.
But then otherwise, you want to have like 6 to 8 or more people. So a lot of the time we end up with like 5 in the server or 7 in the server, which makes the verses in GTA like ruddy impossible because they're just entirely unbalanced.
And then you want like, if you've got like 5 or 7 people, you really ideally want like already curated maps to race on or something along those lines.
Yeah, and we've done like all the Rockstar maps, and like some people, not naming any names, do not know how to fly at all.
Right.
Just fail miserably. One thing I forgot to mention about the meetup, we had these little awards, which were great. So when we got there, we made these like little trophies, and we just kind of made votes throughout the week on who we thought would get stuff. I won a couple, but Emma won. What was it? It was the most likely to kill somebody on their own team. And the worst driver award. the two like absolute worst one. There were some of the other ones like the best voice, the voiceover award, which is I got that one. There was the best dressed in a game. There was the sharpshooter award. There was the person who would die first in a horror game award. There was like loads. There was loads and loads. I think about 10 or 12 awards in the end. Nice. Most likely to person to song. So that was a nice little thing we did as well. But yeah, no. So we've been playing. We have been playing a bit of GTA though, because don't know. We just kind of got back into the heists recently, and like they updated it with like the nightclub stuff. And as soon as we updated the nightclub stuff, we're all just like, oh my god, we want to own a like nightclub for no reason other than that you own a nightclub. And then we realized, oh shit, that's a lot of effort because it costs so much money. So we finished off some heists. Like I finished off all my heists now. And then there was like the past week or so, there was a Rockstar like, oh, if you log in every day, you get 150 grand for every day you log in. So we went in and did like little bits and bobs here and there.
Okay. Do you see many people going like looking to purchase Red Dead?
Not from our group, not really.
No.
Because I don't know whether it's coming out on PC. To be honest, don't think it is.
Oh, I hadn't even considered that. I just assumed it would be going out on PC.
I've not seen it advertised. Put it this way, I've not seen it advertised on Steam for pre-order. Because I don't know when I don't even know when it's coming out. When is it coming out? Do you know?
Oh, I've no idea.
It's like in the next like month or so. Isn't it?
I suspect. I thought it was like October sometime, but
it's in the next like month or so.
I'm sure it's sometime real soon.
And normally when stuff gets announced, so like at E3, when E3 happened, like Steam was just full of pre-orders.
Yeah.
Like Hitman 2, for example, when that came out, it was just like front page of Steam, pre-order Hitman 2 now.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even have a date for release, but it's just like pre-order now. I've not seen any of that for Red Dead at all. So I don't know whether it's coming out on PC or not. And if it is, it might be like some stupid like thing where Microsoft have bought them and been like, hey, only let us do it on Windows 10 because they're trying to push everyone over to the Windows 10 architecture, of course.
Yeah.
So like that's the reason why we haven't started playing like Sea of Thieves, for example, because we're all like, that would be fucking great for us to go play that because we love playing stupid shit like that. We bought another version of Guns of Icarus, a number of us, and we've been playing that 4-player as well, which is, for those who don't know what Guns of Icarus is, it's kind of like Sea of Thieves, but airships and steampunk. And also you don't have any weapons personally. The only weapons are on your ship.
Okay.
But it's things like grappling hooks, flamethrowers, Gatling guns, mortars. There's like a whole slew of different weaponry and different ship sizes and different ship configurations and stuff. But yeah, no, we just... Nobody I know has been... We've been talking about it, like, we talk about it a bit, like, oh, hey, Red Dead's coming out every time we boot up GTA, but nobody has come forward and said, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
You know?
Fair enough.
The thing we've been playing I think some people have been playing quite a lot of recently, though, is Destiny 2. The new DLC and stuff. I don't know, have you got back into Destiny? Because, of course, you...
So, I got the DLC, like, a week and a half ago at this point. And...
Okay.
I loaded it up. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go through the story and then I'll play some more. And I have done 2 story missions.
Of the original story or the new story?
Of the expansion story.
Okay.
I've done 2 missions of the 5. And there's like a bunch of activities to do. And every time like the guys I usually play with are on, we're playing PvP modes. So I've leveled up to level 50, but I haven't finished the main campaign. And I'm just like, oh, I really need to do this. So, but I like what it's done to the game and how it's changed it. But I don't have any push to be like, oh, I'm going to finish the campaign, because it's not going to get me anywhere.
Well, because I genuinely tried reinstalling the game about a week ago, and something happened with the Blizzard launcher. Something's going on with my Blizzard games, because, of course, the obvious thing I missed was the amount of Overwatch we play, but, that's just kind of an aside.
Yeah. Standard Overwatch.
Yeah, pretty much. But I've been having weird glitches lately with Overwatch, like player characters have been disappearing on my screen.
Oh, right.
And like my own character's been disappearing. So there was one point I was playing Lucio before, which he's a healer, AoE healer and AoE sort of buffer because he can give speed boost.
Yeah.
And he fires a weapon. He's one of the few supports that actually shoots stuff. I couldn't see my HUD, so I can't see my ability cooldowns. I couldn't see my gun. I couldn't see my own bullets. But I could see everybody else, so I was just kind of like invisible to myself. Everybody else could see me.
Yeah.
I was just getting slaughtered, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why is it?" Anyway, so I tried. So Blizzard launch has been doing some weird stuff for me. I tried installing Destiny 2 recently because Andy was telling me like, "Oh yeah, now the grenade launchers and the sniper rifles and the shotguns are not limited to power weapon slots."
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which I always thought that fucking shotguns and sniper rifles being power weapons is so stupid.
Yeah.
Because like, why would you? If you got a rocket launcher, what are you going to take? A shotgun or a rocket launcher? Hard decision, that one.
I know. Yeah, that was one of the main problems with it. But yeah, no, they've changed it around, so now you can have... Yeah, they've changed the economy of the game, and then, like, rather than all the weapons having fixed perks, they have random perks that can roll on them, which makes every drop way more interesting. But it means that there are a limited number of things that will drop that you'll be like, oh, this is actually usable. So
yeah, that's the Borderlands syndrome, is that it randomizes everything, and it's like you'll sometimes get like a purple, like really high quality item, be like, oh my god, it's purple, and you grab it, and it's like, this gun is on paper looks fantastic.
Yeah.
When you're firing it, it's just so shit. So
yeah, like I found some guns that I'm just like, these are perfect, and other ones I'm just like, oh, I just wish this. I'm just gonna get rid of this. I do not want it. So yeah, but like I like the changes that they've made to it. I just need to finish the campaign.
Well, the question is though, like if you like the changes, why haven't you been able to get back into it? You know?
I mean, I've played it. I don't know, 6 of the last 8 or 9 days.
Okay, so you are getting back into it.
We've been playing PvP for like an hour and a half to maybe even 3 hours some days. But I haven't done the story because every time I load it up, there's people on and they're just like, let's play PvP. And I'm just like, oh, I'm okay with that. And like, that's way more motivating than, oh, I'll just go and run the story on my own. So
right, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, but I did load, I loaded it up the other day. I think I loaded it up last night, and I'm just like, right. Well, I still have quests left over from like the previous 2 DLCs that I haven't done. So I'm just like, oh, I should probably finish those, especially when one of them gives a weapon that's just like indispensable at the moment. I'm just like kind of trying to go back, and I want to try and run it all at the same time, and I just end up with way too much to do. And I'm just like, I'll just go in PvP where everything's just static, and I'm okay with what I've got.
There was, yeah, because I was, oh god, I don't even remember what the godly guns were, but there was a couple of guns in the DLCs. Because I never bought any of the DLC at all. I bought the base game, I played the base game, and I thoroughly enjoyed the time I played that base game. Yeah. Even before like all the changes and stuff, like people were like, "Oh, Destiny's crap." I'm like, I'm fucking enjoying this game, you know.
It's a good game.
This is fun to me. Give me the Artoris war rig and the fucking minigun, and I'm set. I'm posing everything down. It's fun. Yeah. But yeah, I remember playing the PvP, and it's just like, yeah, somebody has like the explosive pistol or some shit. I don't remember. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, just bam, one shot, headshot. It's like, oh. Okay, right, respawn, bam.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, power weapon ammo. Maybe I can note they got the power weapon ammo, and then they just turned the entire room into napalm. Cool. Yeah, it's a fun game, but I feel that it's one of those. It's weird. Like they've done the DLC and like the expansions in such a way that unless you buy them, it's completely useless.
Yeah.
Playing the game anymore.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, there's aspects to that, yeah, for sure. I was doing all right, like, because I delayed buying the game. Like initially, like when new DLC came out, I was doing fine, like not having all the new stuff. But then, like as time's gone on and like it's all settling down, it's very clear some weapons are way better than others, and some of the new ones are just ridiculously good.
Oh, that'll only be good for a little time though, because it's they've come out and then they're unbalanced, and they're like they've done things or they can do things that the devs don't expect, and they're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
So they're going to nerf them in the next couple of weeks or months or whatever, and it'll go back to normality. But yeah, no, I have fun with Destiny. I'm glad to hear that you're getting back into it, because I know you were having problems getting into Destiny 2, and like whether or not that's story or just like continuing to do PvP. Like if you're enjoying PvP, just fucking keep doing it.
But it's only when other people are on. So like, I'll load it up, and if people are on, we'll play PvP. If they're not, then I'll just try and pick up quests as and where I can. But I'm just like, I don't know if I can be bothered. And then I'll move over to Path of Exile if there's no one on, which is another game that I've been playing.
Well, yeah. So Emma's been telling all of us, like, you gotta pick up Path of Exile. And when I ask her, like, what is it? She's like, it's just good. And I'm like, no Emma, what is it? It's like, it's good. It's like Diablo. That's all I've heard.
Okay. So it's an action RPG like Diablo, but it's more so like Diablo 2 than Diablo 3.
Right.
So there is how do I start? So there are 7 character classes. There's 3 primary stats. There's just 3 main stats: intelligence, strength, and dexterity. And they allow you to do certain things, like intelligence will increase your mana count and your energy shield. Strength will increase the damage that you do, but also your HP that you have, and dexterity does increases your evasion, so you're less likely to get hit. And then the classes are based around like one specific stat or a combination of 2 stats.
So yeah, there's like the strength class, the dex class, the intelligence class, and then there's the intelligence strength class, the intelligence dex, and the strength dex class.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
And then the all 3 are.
And then the all 3, which would be the 7th character class. And what you've got is you've got gems that give you skills. So you can have like lightning to cast if you're a wizard, or well, it's actually a witch. You'll have like lightning to cast, or some other skills like fireball or something like that. And then you'll also have gems that support it to increase the like either like your cast speed or your projectile speed, so that things
like minor buffs. Yeah.
But what you do is you get gear that has sockets on them that you socket the gems into, and the sockets have links between them. So the more sockets you've got, the more links you want between them if you want to support the skill gem that you've got. And
the more connected you get, the more powerful your gems are. Or is it like synergizing you get extra buffs?
Effectively, so there's 2 different leveling up systems. You've got the leveling up of the character, but you've also got the leveling up of the gems. So the gems go from level 1 to level 20, and the character goes from level 1 to 100.
Okay.
The gems are very static. When you level the gems up, they go up 1 level, they get more powerful. When your character levels up, there's a skill tree that is about 1,400 nodes, and you can get about 120 of those nodes.
Oh my god.
What you have to do is you have to pick a skill and invest in that skill and supporting that skill, essentially. And then building the skill tree around the abilities that you want to be using. It is not very user-friendly for beginners. But once you start understanding the interactions between the gems and the support gems, it becomes very interesting, the kind of things that you can do. Recently, so about 3 weeks ago, the new league was announced. So they do their sort of in-game seasons every like 3 months or so.
Right.
And they've updated it to this game mode called Delve, which is essentially an infinite dungeon that spreads out width ways and depth ways. So the deeper you go, the more difficult the enemies, but the wider out you go, you can stay at the same difficulty until you feel more comfortable, and you can go deeper as and when you please.
And then the more rooms you explore, the more chance you have of gaining loot, I assume.
Every time you get to a node, there will be an explosion of loot. So the further down you go, the higher the amount of loot that you'll get.
Because of difficulty.
Yes. But also, one of the things about the game is it drops everything. I have had full screens of loot, and there's been 2 or 3 things I need to pick up. So luckily, there are mods for the games that there are loot filters, so you know what you want to be looking for, things that are valuable, things that are currencies. And the game doesn't have like any in-game gold. It's all through orbs that you can use to upgrade things.
Right.
So, and they drop in different amounts, like, so you can get base currency.
So what's the because it's a free-to-play game. Like, what's the model? It's buying orbs, is it?
No, there is lots of microtransactions for cosmetic things.
Oh, is it cosmetic? Oh, okay.
Things, but also you get stash tabs to store your stuff in, and you only get 4 of them, and it's limited space. So I bought over the weekend a bundle that got me more stash tabs and some cosmetics, because I was like, I'll get the cosmetics because it'll give me currency so that I can buy the stash tabs that I want, so I can actually effectively organize the stuff that I've got.
Okay.
Because that helps, but that's just me. And so what you do is that's the only real effect of the microtransactions. It's never going to be pay to win. It's just pay to, so that you can store your stuff, or so that you can.
It's cosmetics and the ability to have more characters.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. Okay.
Yeah,
I can get behind that. That's good to know, because like a lot of the stuff you do with the free play is like, what's the angle? Like, what are they basing it off? Because like, yeah, some free to play games you go into and it's just like, oh my god, like, you have to just buy perks, or like it's you grind for 100, 200 hours, and you can do this thing, or you just pay a tenner right now and you'll get this you get it immediately, and it's just like
if you're playing,
I can't do the grind.
Yeah, if you're playing one character through the game, you'll be fine without getting extra stash tabs or anything. Because the loot that you actually need, you just need to focus on getting specific things. So you don't need to worry about anything else. There's like massive trade boards as well, so you can be like, I need this item, I will trade for this item.
Or it's like, oh hey, I found this like amazing item that I just do not need, but I know this is really useful.
Need it. I will trade it for a currency of some kind. And like the currency's tiered as well, so there's some orbs that drop that are currency that I've not seen yet, but I've been playing for, I think Steam says I've probably been playing for 70 hours, of which 35 of those will have been in the last 2.5 weeks. Oh no, probably 40 in the last 2.5 weeks, because the new season started, and like I got into it before, but I was like, I'm just starting to really understand it. But since then, I've been like, okay, I actually understand this now, so I'm actually going to play it more. And it's just hooked me. And I haven't actually completed the main campaign of the game to get to the end game as well. And there's like a massive sprawling end game to the game as well. And so I've got to Act 10. I've got to the beginning of Act 10 of the 10-act campaign that there is. And
so you're almost there. You're almost done the story, but then even after you finish the story, there's more stuff to do. Of course,
so much more to do. Yeah, and then you've still got all the endless dungeon that you've got beneath you as well to play through and have fun with. So there's a lot to do in the game, and yeah, like I said, I've probably played 35-40 hours over the last 3 weeks. And
well, like there goes most of my spare time then, because that does sound like quite up my alley. And Emma's like, you gotta install it, so I've installed it now and I haven't booted it up. So if you're listening, Emma, this is all your fault.
Yeah. They're probably patching it this week, just because what they had is if you have multiple characters within the league, your like upgrades for your delve stuff are shared, but your mines themselves aren't shared. But people are saying, oh, I kind of want to share between my characters so I can go off and expand sideways and have a look around. But yeah, action RPG focused on specific skills and getting support gems to support the skills that you're using, and at least some fascinating like interactions and like figuring out how things actually work together. So one of the examples that I've been using recently is that Rachel and I played through the game because it's also on Xbox One. We've been playing on there, and I've also been playing on PC. Because
really, it's cross-platform, is it?
I just have 2 versions of the game that I'm playing.
So. Okay, right, okay.
And yeah, when we got to one of the bosses in the game, it took us I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes to do on our first attempt because we weren't really like optimized in any way.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I did it more recently, we went through it in about 20 seconds. So it's like it's all
good boss.
Yeah, it's like, but there's also mechanics to the bosses, so you've got to make sure you're moving around and everything. But yeah, when you're doing much more damage and everything's like actually coordinating and you're getting a synergistic effect, the game becomes much clearer as to what you want to be doing with it. But
well, that's a good RPG. That's a simple of a good RPG. Like Dark Souls, you can't just randomly assign skill points and hope that you know what you're doing, because then you get toasted. You get absolutely destroyed. You have to like select one of the 4 stats to be like, right, I'm maining strength, I'm maining dex, I'm maining intelligence, I'm maining wisdom, and you have to just like pour everything into that. So
yeah,
otherwise, yeah, you are screwed.
Yeah,
completely screwed.
There is like throughout the game you get orbs that will refund your passive skill points, so you can respec. But
they're not very common, I guess.
They're not particularly common. I can't remember how many I've got at the moment. I might be able to undo a quarter of my passive skill tree at the moment.
Oh, so it's not a full reset. It's like
it does one node per orb. So
right, okay.
Yeah, you need to really consider it. But the game's based around getting loot and kind of like doing these in-game trades and stuff like that. I haven't actually investigated doing any trades yet, but I've got some things that once I get towards the end game, if I level up to 20 or so, I should be able to get a fair chunk for, because they are in-demand skill gems, but I'm not going to be using them, so I'll just be like, okay, I'll just pass them off or trade them, but they're on the lists of the things in the game. But there are a lot of items in that game, a lot of uniques. Someone did something recently where they collected like 1,000 different unique items. And unique's like, God. So you've got tiers, you've got your white stuff, then you've got your blue, which is magic, then you've got yellow, which are rare, and then you've got your uniques, which are orange. And the enemies follow the same pattern as well. White's your general enemies, then you've got magic enemies, then you've got rare enemies, and then you've got unique enemies as well. So
unique enemies are like the bosses.
Yeah, uniques. They're just out in the world. They're typically tough enemies with modifiers on them. But yeah, it plays very similarly to Diablo 3 in how it plays, but Diablo 2 also had you have a passive skill tree that you assign points on, so it follows that logic. But
well, I never played any of the Diablo games, so
fair enough.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find out. I just heard the praise of Diablo 2, and then when Diablo 3 came out, I just kind of watched that burning train wreck for the first year.
For like the first year and a half or so.
Yeah, just watched that burning train wreck, like, oh, it's going down, bye bye. I assumed it had died, and then when I started talking to you, like a year and 2 years later, 3 years later, I was like, yeah, it's still going, it's going strong now. I'm like, fucking hell, they pulled it out.
Yeah,
well done.
I think, the new season for Diablo, season 15, starts on Friday, so when because Rachel's over and it's a game that we play frequently, probably play that for a bit. It'll give us something to do.
Something to do.
Yeah. But yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll probably be playing Path of Exile tonight, to be honest. But I'm always playing Path of Exile at the moment. Yeah.
I'll see what I end up doing. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I've got any work to do, so.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, Dom, is there anything else you want to cover today?
I think we covered most of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
We just we were saying maybe before the podcast started, like, what are we going to talk about? I was like, I fucking know.
I don't know. We can fill time.
No
We're good at that.
Yeah, we're good at that. I mean, the only other thing I was going to say is that I've been watching. I assume you probably won't be watching this because you're not an Overwatch person. But I'm watching a lot of the Overwatch World Cup.
Okay.
And there's one thing that I really need to find out is why the fuck is that not a UK team? Because like I've been looking at the qualifiers and it's like, you know, the people you'd expect: USA, South Korea, China, Russia, Canada, people like that. But then there's like a load of countries, like Brazil's in there. But there's a load of countries such as like Finland, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Spain. But then there's no France, there's no Germany, there's no UK. I'm like, where are the normal European ones? Like, what happened? We basically never even made it to the qualifiers. But yeah, no, that's been a hell of an interesting watch. Because normally I don't watch esports at all. It's like my first major foray into it. And I've been watching, I've been absolutely fucking entrapped by it. But then again, I play loads of Overwatch and I'm starting to really get into Starting to really get into that game again.
Oh, fair enough.
So,
Cool.
yeah, good times. No, aside from that, should we call it?
Yeah, cool. Right, where can we find you across the internet?
You can find me at McDom or McDom023K across various places. McDom023K on Twitter is probably the most active place I am at the moment.
Nice.
And I am McDom on Steam.
Awesome. I can be found across the internet at DestroyTopMart at Ether, which I don't know. Depends.
I think you covered this enough times so people know where to find you.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
right. Thank you very much for being my guest this week.
it's no problem, Topham. Anytime.
Cool. And thank you everyone for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.